Hey everybody, welcome to Ellis Mowers. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all know we got a lot of crossover people who probably watch a lot of popular automotive YouTube channels. Hoovy's Garage, I'm sure many of you are familiar. He's got over 1.4 million subscribers. He markets himself as the dumbest automotive channel on YouTube. Well, I feel like fixing this mower for me is saying that I'm the dumbest lawnmower channel on YouTube. I'm not going to steal his branding or title or anything like that. But I hate these things. And I got that close to selling this and another one that's branded as a Craftsman. I got that close to putting them up for like $100 and saying screw it. But then I had somebody that wanted it if I was able to get it fixed. And I was like, well, I know this won't need much, but it may be a pain to do. And the other one, I mean, it's complete. I just got to put it back together. And I can get $250 a pop for them. So I'm like, hey, let's make, another $300 or so after parts off of all this. So that's why this is back in here. Story time. I sold this back in March. Early June, the folks contacted me. They had already blown up a push mower that I sold them, and I sold them another just cheap push mower for like $30. The wheels, I think, were that big on it. That hasn't come back. But I sold them a Craftsman lawnmower and got this back on trade. So I gave them a $100 trade credit, whatever. Long story short, they got such a good deal on the Craftsman, I said, the only way I'm doing this deal is you take this home and you don't call me back. It takes a lot for me to get to that point with the customer, but judging by the condition that this mower came back in, led me to that decision. And I'll show you why in just a second. So, let's see if I can fix, again, my least favorite lawnmower ever known to man, a Murray rear engine rider. Let's get started. Alright, so if you search on my channel, you can find videos on this. This is not the one that I drove into the garage, so don't get mistaken for that. This is a different one, although it looks about the same. So let me show you what has happened since it has left and come back. So if you look in the front, you can see that we've got a little bit of a toe out deal going. Maybe if I pull it forward I can see it a little bit better. A little bit of a toe out deal going. So that means they hit the front with something hard. Luckily that's an easy fix. All I got to do is beat this rod up and bend it back just like a Craftsman. So that's nice. Something else that happened while this was gone was this. The deck was in near perfect shape on this mower, and then something happened right here. Don't know what. And then if I can look under the deck here, I don't know if I can give you a view or not. The blade is severely bent. I don't think y'all can see that. So it's the blade, I promise you, because there's not any play in the spindle and I can see where it's physically bent down. So that leads me to believe, well, I can check the pulley up top here, but I doubt that that's not the issue, because this thing will cut and it just vibrates like crazy when you first turn it on, and then the force gets going and it at least balances out a little bit. So that all happened in 3 months. I originally sold this mower for $250, and I'm still probably, I literally have no money in the mower, because the mower I sold them I didn't have much money into, and I definitely got it back. Still starts and runs and drives good, starts and runs good. It doesn't drive at all, which is why I do not want to fix it. However, we're going to try, and I don't know how I'm going to try. because y'all saw me take a transmission out of one of these in the past, and it absolutely sucked. So what I believe has happened, because if you hit the gears, at least if you hit them right, you can feel it try to engage. Or is it? It should kind of lock into place. So, did it shear key for the wheel? I'm not sure. May have just sheared a wheel key, and if that's the case, then we might be alright, because I'm seeing the pulley turn on the shaft, which makes me think that it may not be a pulley. But I wouldn't think that they could shear a wheel key. Unless the transmission just decided, but it's not, like the transmission's trying to lock into place there, so I don't think that would be it. Let me do a little bit of investigating, because it might not be what I think. Let me do a little bit of investigating, guys. Let me see what I can find. But that pulley in there is definitely turning with the transmission, which may mean that the transmission's gone out on this. And if that's the case, we will not be fixing it. Alright guys, so figured out what's going on here. But see, the transmission's good. I mean, it's catching gears and doing what it needs to. The issue is the drive belt's slipping. And I can tell you why. It at least needs a drive belt while I'm here. And I don't know if I can show it to you because it's so compact up in this thing. It's ridiculous. But the drive belt up here is shredded, and it's a little loose. And I can't even show you that because I can't get my arm up in there without tearing it up. Which sucks. Because this isn't like a Craftsman where you can just change the drive belt out in 10 minutes. I gotta drop the whole transmission on this thing, and then I gotta do something with this pulley, which I don't know if I can get it over the pulley or not. I think I can. And then I've got to get it off of the main drive pulley over there. The belt probably ain't 20 inches long, but I can at least show you what it's doing drive-wise, and that kind of leads me, because I'm not hearing any like jerking of the transmission or anything. It like wants to engage, and then it doesn't. So, and there's, I mean, the belt's partially shredded too. I can feel it. This thing should start right up. my original fix with the valve grind is doing great. I mean, this mower runs pretty good after you get warmed up. I see that they changed the spark plug out, so I wonder if that's causing some issues with it cold. One thing that we can go ahead and do while it's here is fix the alignment. But I got to order a 30-inch blade. I've got to order a drive belt for it. I do have a 30-inch blade on this mower, but it's pretty trashed. And I don't even know how the drive belt is on this thing, but I might just order a set of 2 and just, I don't know. But I'm not getting down there to look at that thing right now. But the blade on this is trashed. It doesn't have any lift or anything left on it, as you can see. So I need to order a new blade and fix the steering. The steering should be a very easy fix right here, and I wonder if I could honestly just do it with a jack, because it's bent downward instead of upward, and so I'm wondering if I can just throw a jack in there and bend it up to get it back aligned again, because you can see where it's wearing the tires funny and stuff like that. Maybe not. That little rod's a little more sturdy than I thought. So here's what I've got to do. I might do it off camera real quick. I'll show it to you since it's kind of tight. I got to take this cotter pin off and the cotter pin on the other side off. Pretty easy. And then I'm just going to put this thing in the vise, bend it back into place, and then just put it back on the mower. Should be a pretty easy deal. And that should get us back going. But you can see it was trying to wear out the tires in the front. I mean, think if you drove your car with the toe out on it, how quickly it would wear the tires out and wear out the suspension components. It's doing the same thing with this mower. So I'm gonna take those cotter pins off, bend it back into place with the vise over there, and put it back on, and that should fix the alignment. So there's that part. This is supposed to be straight. So let me straighten it out. I'll show you the end result. All right, y'all, that's a little bit better. It is not 100%, but it should get us close. Let me put it back on. I'll show you the alignment once I do that. All right, y'all, it's towed out just a tiny bit, but it still works like it needs to, which is good. I could try and work on it a little bit more, but I think we've got it about to the point where it needs to be. And so, because I think they actually bent this spindle out a little bit. But in terms of it tracking straight, it's not trying to like shred the tires anymore like it was. So, and it's easier to turn. It was struggling with me previously, so that's good. That's fixed good enough for the front. Now I can take some pliers and pull that portion of the deck out. Now it's just a matter of ordering the deck belt, or the drive belt, and the blade, and that should fix our issue. It's, like I said, I just got to do it. It is going to be a pain to change that out, but we'll see what we can do with it. All right, guys, the access is pretty terrible to this, and I am doing my best to not have to drop the transmission in order to get this off. So, first thing I have done is taken the deck belt off of the pulley. It's very easy when the blades are disengaged to do that. And then second, I'm trying to get the belt off of the pulley for the transmission. And what you have to do is you have to pull it from the top and pull it out. But I don't know if there's going to be enough room for me to pull it from the top with the way that the pulley setup and everything is. So because this is nearly impossible for me to film down here, what I'm doing is the belt I'm pushing to the top, and then I'm going to try and pull forward, because I'm going to try and get it past those guides and whatnot that way. And then the new one, I want to try and pull down onto the pulley from the guides. Now for the pulley for the tension or the brake, I'm going to try and just pull that up and over as well. I don't know how much success I will have. But then for the, well, that's actually the engine pulley, I think. No, for the engine pulley, I've got to pull it down under this drive pulley. Now I could take the engine pulley off, but I'm going to see if I can do it without having to do that. I will let y'all know. I'm going to get to work on this. It's seriously nearly impossible to film down there, and the best way for me to do is explain what I do and try and illustrate it as much as possible. So let me get to work, see what I could do, excuse me, and I'll get back to you on what I ended up having to do to it. Alright guys, this was a little bit of a challenge, but we got it off completely without having to do anything, taking anything apart with the transmission. It is very tricky. Let me do my best to tell you what I did. So, I jacked up the transmission, as you can see, or jacked up the mower. I'm going to jack it up a little bit better than what I had it, because probably not the safest, but it's jacked up like so. What I did is I took a 5/8 and a 1/2 inch impact and took the pulley partially off, just brought it down a little bit, because there's a bracket that goes in between. I'm sorry for the access here, but there's a bracket that goes in between the two pulleys on the double stack, and you have to take it around the bracket and pull it out the right side of the mower to get it around from the spring, to get it away from the spring and over the brackets. So it was a little bit of a pain, but it was a little bit easier to get out than I thought. There's some better light. So I pulled it around the pulley on the right side of the mower, which is facing away, which is the side that I'm shooting towards, around this little bracket, which is kind of where the deck height lever is. It's basically right behind there. You can see the little guides for it, and there's like a little plate. You have to run it around there and pull it off. So now I'm going to try and put the new one back on it. Now I understand why there's no videos on replacing these things, because you can't film under there. Let me show you what the old belt looked like. You can see it was starting to stretch and wear out on the inside and stuff like that. So I'm going to make sure all the pulleys are turning like they're supposed to before I put this new belt on, and then we will continue on, and hopefully we have the drive fixed on this. And then after that, all I have to do is fix the blade, put the new blade on, and kind of fix this deck a little bit. And we should have everything fixed on this thing for it to be ready to go again, since you've already fixed the steering in the front. So that's good. Alright y'all, after much effort, I'm going to try this way to see if it's a lot easier. I know I can make a quick step-by-step, but what I like to do in my videos is kind of show you my thought process to see what I can get away with a lot of times. But I'm going to take the wheels off here. I'm going to turn some fan on so I can get some air too. Woo! Alright. Alright, so I'm going to take these wheels off. Which I've already got this thing standing up, so it is far enough off the ground to where the wheels will come off, just like so. I'll throw a little lube on them so that they go on easier. Now on this side, I'll show you where you need to go with these. I think we're going to have to take them completely off, which I'm not very pleased with. But you got like some 7/16 and a half, I think, and they should be halves. Yeah, so I'm just loosening those nuts up. And I'll do that on both sides. So what that's going to allow this transmission to do drop a little bit. I don't know if I want to take these completely off unless I absolutely have to. Because what it's going to do is cause the transmission to drop a little bit. And hopefully that'll be enough for us to get it on. One other thing I want to show you, one other bolt that you've got to take off. And I got to get the mower down to show it to you, so let me go ahead and do that. And maybe we can just get by with doing it on one side. Just temporary there. Oh. Okay. Is this bolt here. Just take this off. It's attached to a little square bolt, and what it does is it's like a little tab mount on the transmission. So we just took that off. There's your square bolt. We'll put that back in here in just a second, okay? But that allows, that's like the 5th mounting bolt for the transmission. So here's what I would like to do. I would like to not have to take this transmission completely off. I just would like to make it so that it will drop enough for me to get the belt through the back side of it. Alright, so wheel off. There we go. It's steady like that. So wheel off. See if I can drop this thing. All for a drive belt, y'all. All for a drive belt. All right. on a $250 mower. Okay. And thought I could get it like that. Okay. See what I can do here. I'm gonna drop it far enough. Oh yeah. Gosh, that's so much better. Holy cow. So I just dropped the transmission and now I'm putting the belt on it. Hopefully I can show y'all. I know this is a heck of a job to try and film. And guys, I'm doing the absolute best that I can for you, and I hope that it's working. Alright, that's in there. That's in there. Let me get this around the pulley. Okay, now I've got to get it back around. So now I want to put the transmission back on. Now that we've got that settled. Okay, drive belt. Oh, I see. That hole. Ugh. All right, see. Pulley. Gotta get it back under the guide pin there. Holy moly. That's not gonna be fun. All for a deck belt, y'all. Whew. All right, we are successfully around the drive pulley. Oh man, these are killer. Now I've got to get that. Now I've got to get those bolts back in. So now, and also, I've got to get this pulley back over the drive pulley on the double stack on the mower, and it's tangled up in that. Ah. Throw a little lube on that pulley anyways, because it's a little bit stiff. But now we've just got to put it back onto the main drive pulley. Come on, buddy, you know you want to. So now I just got to do that. So the big part's done with that main pulley. Maybe what I'll do is I'll get these hammered in, and then back on, and then I'll try and put it on the other two pulleys there. Stay tuned, y'all. We're getting there. All right, y'all. I did a little bit of finessing and I got it. So after I got it on this pulley, I took it slightly off in order to give us enough slack to put it on this pulley. I dropped this down, the double stack down a little bit, so that I was able to slide the belt into this pulley on the engine. And then what I did is I turned so I had it partially on still, this drive pulley, and I ended up, sorry, this is taking a lot out of me, y'all. I ended up putting, just turning the pulley in neutral, with the engine in neutral, or with the transmission in neutral, and I was able to get it back on. I did have to go down here. There's a guide pulley that's about back there where my hand is that I had to pull out in order to get it back around that pulley for the drive. I am sorry if this is a horrible tutorial. This is a pain to try and film and fix. I didn't realize that I was going to have to stick this thing up. When I turn the engine, of course, oil ran out the muffler, so this thing's going to be a straight up smoke show when I crank it up. Let's do something that's going to be a lot easier now. Let me swap batteries on my 1/2-inch impact. And get my big 15/16. Maybe it's 7/8. Yep, 7/8. Cool. It's a washer and a nut. That's all it is. Washer goes in like that. Goes in kind of with the indent on it. We're going to get this plastic bag off. There's also a locking nut here, kind of. Plastic bag. Oh, there's another washer. Washer. Another nut. Blade. New blade, right? Going down like this. Like so. Put the nut back on. Need to get a couple threads started here. Stand by. I jinxed myself. There we go. Get that blade in the middle. So the damage area is right here, and there's a little area right here I need to pull out from where they, oh my gosh, really? So I pulled this in. The damage area is right here and right there that I need to pull out. So I'm going to grab some pliers first. And right there, I mean, I got a bunch of areas that this new blade needs to fit in with where the deck has been compromised. So I'm going to work on that some, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, that's the old blade. I don't know if there's anything wrong with it because it seems like it's balancing okay. I think what happened is it knocked off the alignment of the pulley for the like the washers, and so I think that's why I had an issue doing that. This thing's going to be a smoke show when I crank it up, but we'll see what we got here. So the blade brake's not working, and I think where I did the whole deal with the air filter or the oil, I got a bunch of oil in the sump, and so now it's sucking it up. So it honestly, it needs to just run for a while and run that oil that I purged out of the system. So I'm gonna let it do that. That's the negative about turning this thing over like that. Figure out why the blade brake's not working. I don't know if it's stuck or if it's missing, but at least the thing is just not pulling it far enough. Or maybe it's not able to overcome, because somebody has tightened this all the way and it's not able to overcome that. So now what I've got to do is take that off, take this off here, and loosen this up a little bit, because it is super tight. So that's my next deal. All I gotta do is take it out and turn that nut out some in order to loosen it up so that the brake will engage for us. But I think dinner's calling, so I'm gonna do that here in just a second, and I'll be right back. All right, y'all, we are done with this thing. Super happy with it. I'm gonna let it run a little bit. I'll give you all a test mode, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm trying to make Pate's Performance live this evening. So got a decent amount of gas in it. Runs good, cuts good. Got the blade brake working. Got all the stuff pulled out of the way for the deck, and had to do something similar to the that gray Craftsman that I had, which I actually sold on this day. Had to pull this out a little bit so that whenever I had the blades engaged, it was not rubbing up against anything. And I twisted that in, and the blade brake is now working, so that's good. Oil is pretty much, I filled it back up with oil. I still got a mess to clean up in the garage, but drive belt's done, blade is done, and we're gonna sell this thing for $200 to $250. I originally was not gonna sell it. I was gonna sell them as I was gonna sell this one and the gray Craftsman that I had as a lot for like $150. I sold the gray one. I had about $35 in the gray one. I sold it for $250 today, $260 plus with delivery. I'll list this one for $250 probably tomorrow, because I want to test it out for maybe 20 minutes or so before. But the drive belt's working great. Just a pain to get in, and the blade, the new blade, after I beat the deck out to where it was beat to pieces by the previous owners, is working now as well with no obstructions. I was thinking of intrusions and obstructions, and I could not get both of the words out. So let me take y'all for a ride. We'll wrap this up before it gets dark. That way I can see what Pate's Performance is up to. This thing still runs good. You can tell it's still, I probably could have ground down the exhaust valve a little bit more than I did in the original video, but it's still plenty good. Wow. You want to talk about, it doesn't turn left very good, but you want to talk about something that will turn, holy moly, or that will take off. Woo! Popping wheelies like no other here. All right, blades on. Doesn't turn left very sharp, but it turns right pretty good, which is kind of probably what you want. Blade brake works. Even the headlight works. Which is awesome. And ended up being happy. One other thing you can tell by see how far the deck or the drive belt is stretched on it is to see where the brake pedal is. So originally this brake pedal, whenever you release it, was all the way back here, which is what its maximum point, and it didn't work. So you can see where it is now. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Y'all know that I do not like working on these. However, the more I work on them, the less I hate them. They're okay. They're okay mowers. I just had that one that I had last year just left me a very bad taste, to the point where I almost didn't want to work on this one originally, and to the point where I didn't want to work on that Craftsman either. Luckily, both of them, with about $35 a piece in them, with the blade and the pulley on this one, and then I had a couple of parts of the blade and the belt on this one, and the pulley and air filter, carburetor shenanigans on the other one, is what caused me to end up getting these fixed. So this one's already paid for itself, essentially. The other one I got for free, put $35 in, sold it for $250. I plan to sell this one for probably about the same. So it's a quick $500 for the amount that I had to work on it, because this just took me 2 hours at the most, really, to do everything that I needed to do, and that was with all the difficulty of getting that drive belt back on. But thank you all again for watching. Promoting the website, ellismowers.com. Still trying to build that up, but it is a legit website now. Bought the domain name, it is mine. You can also email me at at ellis@ellismowers.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook as well. Thank you all as always for the support that y'all given the channel, and it keeps these mower repairs going, and building up the library for those who are looking to get things fixed for themselves. So I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Catch you then.